There you are, I hope. Just give me one sec while I just get. I'm streaming on a few different platforms. My dogs are barking. It's all happening here. Just one sec. Meditation's coming. Hang on, nearly there. Just checking Facebook. Oh, Facebook was coming through, which it is, I think. Oh, no, now it's jammed. Hang on, no, we're back. It's coming. Meditation's coming. One nearly there. Okay, beautiful. All's good. How are you? Are you good? Are you well? I hope you're well. I hope it's going well. It's fine if it's not. God, it's, not every day can be good, but, I hope it's going well. Right, time for a bit of meditation. I meditate throughout the day. This is just the one I do on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. It's part of the further emergence work that I do. I'll explain what that is when we're finished. So if you're an experienced meditator, that's brilliant. Can you just hang on while I explain what I do, just for the benefit of people who are new to meditation? Because I've discovered that people are a bit embarrassed if they don't know how to meditate. It's almost like they expect that they should just automatically know how to do it. And I'm basing that on people saying to me, what do you actually do? So, lots of different types of meditation. This is just what I do. I've been doing it for years. For me, it starts with why I would meditate. I'm trying to connect with the part of me that I connect to every night when I go to sleep. Not the dreaming bit, the bit after dreaming. So I'm dreaming, and then I drop out the bottom of dreaming into deep dreamless sleep, where I have no memory of being there. I've no thoughts, I've got no body, I've got no country, no stories, no nothing. I don't even have me. I kind of cease to exist in the way that I normally register my existence. Which, when I put it all together like that, that sounds awful. I mean, that sounds like death. Yet, I love going to sleep. And when I wake up in the morning, I feel refreshed. So some part of me knows that that's a good place that I go to. And that's the place I want to go to when I meditate. I just want to do it consciously. So, straight away, if you're new to meditation, don't try this lying down. Because if you lie down, you're just going to fall asleep. Because your body is just used to lying down. When you lie, from your body's point of view, it's like, I'm lying down, I've got my eyes closed. It must be time for sleep. So, yeah, sit up. You don't have to sit in a lotus position or anything like that. You can just sit in a chair. But if you're going to sit in a chair, make sure it's not a very comfortable chair that you might fall asleep in, or you'll just be back into that loop. So as I say, my mind doesn't go to this place. It sort of has to wait outside the door. So I have to figure out some way of working with my mind. So to sort of part the curtains, if you like, of my mind to get into this place. So I just make an arrangement with my mind. I just say, look, I'm going to meditate for the next 15 minutes. Can you just stop thinking? And at this stage, my mind is on board for the whole idea. It's like, yeah, okay, fine. Now, if you experience a bit of resistance with your mind, I mean, you never experience resistance the first time you meditate because it's something exciting and new, and your mind will be into it. But, 20, 30 times down the track, your mind can get a bit bored with it. So, if that's happening, if you're getting a bit of resistance to it, give your mind the sort of thing your mind likes, which is ideas, concepts, thoughts. Give it some thoughts. So read about it. Look at some videos about it, so that your mind's got something to chew on about it, and then it'll be more on board. So my mind's on board. Good. Next thing is to stop thinking. That's relatively easy to do. It's easy to stop, because regardless of the content of my thought, what I'm thinking about, the structure of my thought's always the same. It's always pictures and sound. So if I turn off the pictures and I turn off the sound, that's it. I've stopped thinking. And as soon as I do that, I'm into the practice of meditation. Now, the practice of meditation runs parallel with the intention of meditation, the intention of my meditation. So my intention is to go to this deep, mysterious, profound, still, Zen-like, calm, all the words you read about meditation, to go to that place. Practice of meditation starts as soon as I stop thinking. And it kind of goes, I stop thinking, I turn off the pictures, I turn off the sound. Then some time passes, I discover I'm thinking again. So I go, oh, I'm thinking again. So I turn off the pictures, turn off the sound. Then some more time passes and I discover I'm thinking again. I'm like, oh, I'm thinking again. Turn off the picture, turn off the sound. Some more time passes, I discover I'm thinking again, and so on. So the practice of meditation is simple. You just, every time you discover that you're thinking, you just bring yourself back to not thinking. It's that simple. Now, I'm sort of draw your attention to that because it's quite easy to get the misconception that to meditate correctly, you shouldn't be thinking at all, which isn't the case. It's more of a dance between these two things, the intention and the practice. So sometimes you'll be very deep and still and flat, you know, and that's powerful. And then sometimes you'll be discovering that you're thinking. You'll be like, oh, I'm thinking, and bringing yourself back to not thinking. That's powerful as well. But it's powerful in a more subtle way, because when you're deep and still, and it's kind of obvious that you can feel it in your whole system. But when you are discovering that you're thinking, like if you're like me, you think about things to do with you. Why did that person say that to me? What am I going to do about that thing? Where did I leave the car? What am I going to do about that other thing? And so on, right? So if I'm meditating and I discover I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, I'm thinking. Now I turn off that pictures and I turn off the sound. So I make that thought stop. That's powerful because indirectly I'm saying to myself, you know that thought that you had just an instant ago, that you thought was you and you were it? Well, you just made that disappear. So you're not that thought. In fact, you're not any of your thoughts. You're something else. That's very powerful. And then the fact that you do that repeatedly, that's very powerful as well. So if you hear yourself thinking, God, I'm just thinking the whole time, I'm not meditating, I'm just rubbish at this meditation thing, I'm just thinking all the time, then that's just another thought. Just turn off the pictures, turn off the sound, and just come back to not thinking. There's no correct number of times, you know. There isn't like, oh, I'm thinking more than everybody else. It changes day to day, hour to hour, depending on when you meditate. So don't get into that. Don't add to your thinking by thinking that you're not very good at meditation. Just every time you discover that you're thinking, just bring yourself back to not thinking and you'll be doing great. Now, while all that is going on, I'm also letting go of tension in my body. And I have a system for that because it's too vague for me without a system. So I scan my body from my head to my feet, back up again, very slowly, very gently, and then anywhere I find tension, I let it go. And I use my out breath to let it go because it's natural to just breathe it away. But it's also a good way to remember to breathe because it's quite easy to hold your breath or to forget to breathe altogether during meditation. So also, as I'm scanning my body up and down, I'm paying particular attention to any structures in my body that go across my body. Mostly my body runs head to feet, but anywhere that goes across my body, it's a bit like a log going across a stream. You know, it picks up all the twigs and the branches and the leaves and whatever's coming down the stream, except on my body, that's tension. So I'm checking my eyes. There can be a lot of tension in the eyes, my jaw, my tongue, the base of my neck, my shoulder girdle, all my joints, they are all transverse sites as well. So shoulders, elbows, wrists, fingers, my heart area, my respiratory diaphragm, all my intestines, my pelvic floor, my hips, my knees, my ankles, and my toes. Having a nice quiet room is very helpful when you're starting out with meditation because as soon as you close your eyes, your hearing will amplify. And one of the things that triggers thoughts is little noises. So the quieter the room, the better chance you'll give yourself. And then the other thing I do to help my mind is I set a timer for how long I'm going to meditate for. I do that because without a timer, my mind will be wandering. So I'm going to set my timer for 15 minutes, but I'd encourage you to set yours for shorter. Set it for 5 minutes and then repeat that 3 times. Because 15 minutes is a long time if you're not used to it. Yeah. Okay. Now let me just check if there are any questions. No. Facebook, no. Good. All right, hang on a sec. Timer is Up and running. Okay, off we go into the mystery. Okay, so if you feel like you've gone pretty deeply into yourself and you feel like you need to come back from that before you open your eyes, well, that's fine, just do that, take your time. Or if you feel like you can hold the inner space and the outer space at the same time, then just open your eyes. And if when you do that you feel like you lose the inner space, just close your eyes again, reconnect, there it is, oh yeah, open your eyes again. If you feel like you lose it again, close your eyes again. And just kind of use your eyes like a valve, you know, to sort of equalize inside and outside. So as I said, that's part of, these meditations are part of the further emergence work I do. Further emergence is to do with growth, specifically inner growth. Your body, or my body, your body, grows, you know, as a child and adolescent, and when it reaches sort of adulthood, it sort of stops growing, switches into a different thing. But you keep growing on the inside in consciousness, let's call it that. And just like when you were a kid, you might have gone through periods of accelerated growth, you know, like what are called growth spurts. You can go through the same inside, and that continues like for the rest of your life, really, as far as I can see. And when you go through a growth spurt on the inside, it can be quite disorienting, and it can manifest in lots of different ways that can, you know, be very hard to deal with, and you can feel like there's something wrong with you. But it's a naturally occurring thing when you go through these growth spurts. And these growth spurts are further emergence, and that's the kind of focus of the work that I do. And when you're going through one of these inner growth spurts, it can manifest as I said, disorientation. It can be quite lonely, because you can go from almost overnight, everyone you know and talk to understands you and gets you, to the next day, no one understands you, no one gets you, they all think you're a bit nutty. It can be like that. It can be a feeling of being stuck, that's another way. You can have physical symptoms as a result, nothing life-threatening, but just very debilitating, like symptoms that feel like they've put a pause on your life, while almost like they're trying to get your attention about something. It can feel like you wake up one day and your life doesn't fit you anymore, or you don't fit into your life, or your life is kind of unrecognizable to you, or just weird looking. So yeah, and it can be lots of other things as well, but they're just some of the, you know, ways. And, you know, I've been through this myself many times, and I've helped lots of different people go through it as well. And these meditations are to help with that, because knowing your inner space is very helpful when you're going through further emergence. I also do a Zoom group. I facilitate a Zoom group every Friday. And that's a chance to connect with other people who are going through the process, to see, oh, I'm not on my own with this. We meditate a bit more deeply, and there's questions and answers and that kind of thing. And then the other thing I do is I work with people one-to-one. So that's a combination of talking, which is kind of in front of the scenes work, and then there's behind the scenes work where I work with them remotely as well. So yeah, if that sort of resonates with you, you can either follow along on the different social channels. There's like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. There's Further Emergence. Search for Further Emergence there, you'll find us. Even LinkedIn, I think. Not too active on LinkedIn. Or you can go to the website, furtheremergence.com, and have a read about more of it there. Okay,